Hi guys, my name is Anna, and today we're going to be talking about an extremely contagious virus that wipes out a large majority of the world's population, the survivors who are left in the aftermath and have to make the decision between joining the good side or joining the bad side. Gotta love fiction. So as you can probably tell, I'm talking about The Stand by Stephen King. I decided to pick this novel up at the end of December. I really wanted it to be the last book that I read in 2020, but one thing led to another and I didn't end up finishing it in December. I actually finished it the first week of January. It took me about 10 days in total to finish it. I was switching between reading the book physically and listening to the audiobook, and oh my word, I loved it. I read the extended version, which is 1,153 pages, and this is the printing from Doubleday. At the beginning of the novel, it gives us kind of like a little bit of history as far as the book itself. I learned that Stephen King had wanted to publish the book in its entirety. I'm gonna set this baby down for a little bit. But publishers were afraid that people would not want to read a book that was 1,000 pages plus. So they told him, either you cut it down or we'll cut it down for you, but we're not printing it at 1,000 pages. So Stephen King made the decision, okay, I'll cut it down myself. It ended up being about 800 pages in its first publishing. And now people just wanted more, so I got this extended version. I'm sure that there's other ones, as many friends have told me that they've read The Stand in their entirety as well. Now, there are some trigger warnings, of course, for foul language, violence. Of course, it's King, and it's one of his earlier works, so he does use the N-word quite frequently, so be prepared for that as well. There's also a few parts in the novel that might be triggering for people with different disabilities as well. And there are some references of adult content in there also. Just as I mentioned in my opening, it is about a worldwide pandemic called the Superflu, also referred to as Captain Trips in the novel. And it wipes out 99% of the world's population. And it is about the survivors, and we follow several different survivors throughout the course of the novel and everything that ensues thereafter. Let me just say that this was probably not the best novel to read during a pandemic. There's one section in particular that talks about a sheriff getting exposed, and then he pulls over a family, and then that family goes to eat at a diner, and then they expose the waitress and the cook and everybody else in the diner, and it just goes on, talking about how the virus is spread to different people all across the world. So needless to say, that part freaked me out a little bit, not gonna lie. Overall, the story was fantastic. I just loved the separation between good and evil. I loved how easy it was to recognize at times who was good, who was evil, and other times it really wasn't clear. It has so much great symbolism of good and evil, and how some people immediately choose sides and how other people are coerced from one side to the other because of influence or because of false promises or because of the sense that they feel the grass is greener on the other side. And I just loved all of that. It just made it feel all that much more real. I loved all of the characters, even the ones that were extremely hard to love. King put so much background into each of the characters. Even the dog in the story has a backstory, which I thought was pretty awesome. I loved King's representation of Mother Abigail. I thought that she was just such a warm-hearted, kind soul, truly the epitome of goodness. And I love that she was a woman that stuck to her morals throughout the whole novel. I also loved the way that King wrote the ending. It wasn't one of those easy endings that we read when we're children and we want something pleasant when we're going to bed at night to make us feel better. It was more real, and it was a lot easier to connect with and connected to everyday life. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind before you start this novel. Number one, it is long. Even the audiobook, and I can't listen to it at 2 speeds, so I listen to it at 1.5, and even the audiobook is like 36 hours at 1.5 speed. So it's not something that you can even finish in a day, even if you're listening to the audiobook. Second one, if you're going to be carrying the novel around, I suggest get the ebook version because this thing weighs a ton. I have like a little over the shoulder backpack that I use from time to time, and it definitely put on some weight back there. So I would recommend the ebook if you want to read it physically. Thirdly, it is King, so there are a couple of parts that bring up the weird factor from time to time. Just a couple of things where I was kind of like, that was a little strange. And of course, it is King, so there were a few parts where I just stopped and was like, oh my goodness, that was messed up. But still enjoyed it, obviously. But overall, just a super fantastic novel. If you have been putting off reading it because you are intimidated by the length, I would say 110% go for it. I posted the picture on my Facebook and on my Instagram saying that I was starting it, and I had so many of my friends who read comment and say, oh, you're gonna not even feel the 1,000+ pages, and they were 110% correct. It got to a certain point in the novel where I didn't want to do anything else but read. I wanted to continue reading. I wanted to switch to the audiobook when I couldn't actually be reading the physical book because I just wanted to know what happened. And I think that those are the best kind of novels ever. So for me, this one was 110% a win. I can honestly say that this is going to be one of my all-time favorite books. And I can honestly and truly see myself rereading the book physically and listening to the audiobook again. And I really and truly feel like this is going to be one of those novels that I try to reread every year because that's how well I feel that it was written, and that's how poignant I feel that it is, especially at a time like this. So obviously, in case you haven't already figured it out, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. If I could give it 6 or 7 stars out of 5, I totally would, but just thought it was fantastic. I'll be reading it again, hopefully in the near future, and I recommend that you do the same. So I hope that you really enjoyed this video as much as I loved filming this video. I hope that you pick up your own copy of The Stand, whether it be audiobook, ebook, or physical copy. Just as a reminder, if you have not done so already, please hit that subscribe button down below and support my channel. I'll also leave the link to my Instagram down below in case you'd like to follow me on social media. And please leave me a comment if you feel that there's any other Stephen King books that I should try to read. Maybe I can film a vlog on one of them. I have not read a giant amount of his books in comparison to how many he's published, and I'm always looking for new suggestions. So I think that will do it for today. Thank you again so much for watching. Please stay safe, wear your mask, maintain social distancing, and yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Take care, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!